I launched a one-word prompt competition to see how creative you can be with one word inside of Midjourney. The winners might astonish you. Judging criteria: my refined taste. All the words went into Midjourney and I upscaled my favorites. Here is a run-through of some notable entrants. This was A, and you can see you can get some pretty impressive results with a very general abstract interpretation of the letter A inside of Midjourney. I believe that Midjourney simply goes off on its own if it has no idea what to go with and produces an image that it thinks we will like. So it's done a pretty good job there. Next up is anti-disestablishmentarianism. And of course, we all know that anti-disestablishmentarianism is a position that advocates that a state church should continue to receive government patronage rather than be disestablished. Here is beguiling. This is cataclysm. This is chronicle. This is cosmos. I thought this was particularly beautiful how a flower came out of the cosmos. Something very philosophical about that indeed. That out of the deepest reaches of the dark world can be flowers. Next up is depths. This is a beautiful interpretation of the word that can have so many meanings, so many levels, so many depths. This figure emerging out of vine-like creatures in what looks like a submerged aquatic world. A very, very beautiful prompt. Thank you so much. Here's flying. I have this beautiful interpretation of this combination of birds sort of linking together into this abstract form in the center of the piece. There is something extremely dreamlike about this. It's a great prompt. Joy. I love this figure whose sense of joy comes from having a rather large skirt made of flowers. Maybe that is joy, to be surrounded by light, colour and beauty. But it certainly evokes a feeling of joy within me, this photo. I feel elated. Here is love. Now, one criticism I have of Midjourney is that it often depicts love so much as heart-shaped symbols, which for me seems a little bit cliche and trite, but that's just my own opinion. This is Milky Way. Here we have neofractility, and it has created a very engaging circular composition that really draws us into this deep dark hole at the bottom of the page. This is realistic, certainly reminds me of London. Not quite sure how Midjourney got there. This is Scapegoat. Nice prompt there, thank you very much for your submission. Beautiful suggestion. This is Solitude, this lone figure staring blankly into the distance. But I like how they are somehow looking at a bunch of flowers. What is the meaning in this? That even if you are alone, you can still find beauty in the world. Here is waterfalls. This works very well. We have these cascading multiples of waterfalls. Using just a single word but adding a plural gives Midjourney a lot more to work with. So this was a great endeavor too. So thank you to all my submissions. I was really blown away by the response I had and a great deal of appreciation to all of you. But now what we've all been waiting for, the results. 4th to 2nd receive access to my online courses, Midjourney Mastery and How to Make and Sell AI Art, whilst the winner will receive this and a month of unlimited Midjourney use. So 4th place is, drumroll please, is Byzantine by Drone Type. Byzantine is relating to the Byzantine Empire and was an old name for Istanbul. So when I originally put Byzantine into Midjourney, it came out with these 4 options. And I decided to upscale the 3rd option, which gave me this. And so with the winners, I also remastered them using the latest algorithm. And this is where I felt this prompt shined the most. It came out with this, the artwork in its full beauty. What I particularly liked about this was it created a fully fledged narrative within the piece. There is a character who is looking with some interest towards this dome structure. And the composition is very well balanced with the intensity of the dome, balanced out by the darkness of the figure. It really engaged me, this piece, and I liked how specific was the output for just one word. So congratulations to Drone Palette. Thank you for entering. And in 3rd place is Plastic Friend 2 with Otoro Sushi, for which I just used Otoro, but the outcomes were mesmerizing. So this is what I got out after inputting it initially. And you can see that it came out with these 4 interesting interpretations. Really fun, strange characters that piqued my interest. Of course, Otoro means fatty tuna. I then upscaled my favorite, which gave this interesting character, this psychedelic, surreal, aquatic animal, before finally remastering it with the latest algorithm, which gave this very unusual bull whale. I particularly like the color palette that came out of this prompt, how the orange hues contrasted fabulously with the depths of the murky blues behind it. I thought that just using one word to create this fantastical creature is extremely creative, that out of many of the submissions, this was perhaps the most original output. And drumroll please, coming in second place is Adrian Maulana with Metaphysical. Metaphysical relates to a branch of human philosophy concerned with reality. And this is what it came up with. You can see here these 4 beautiful options of experiences melding into one another is how I see them. I upscaled my favorite and got this figure staring into the abyss of what looks like a portal. There's something that also is very reminiscent of an eye shape here, which I thought was interesting, that it's subtle, yet it's certainly there. For me, there's something really elicits an emotional response inside of me looking deeply into this image. After upscaling with the latest algorithm, it morphed quite a lot. It became less eye-like, less of a huge context, but there seemed to be this swirling reality encompassing our main character who sits here almost stoically, like an island in the mist. And it gives me a mixture of feelings looking at this piece. I at once feel reassured and also like I'm falling into the unknown. It feels like the tender edge between safety and exploration, between calm and chaos, between order and madness. So thank you for this submission, it's beautiful. So now the moment we've all been waiting for, the winner. A more dramatic drumroll, please. And the winner is Craig Hale with the prompt Soul Surfing. Here were the 4 iterations that it generated, first in Midjourney, and I was immediately struck by all 4. There was something that elicited quite remarkable feelings inside of my chest cavity. And I upscaled my favorite, which gave this image. I at once was enthralled by a few elements going on here. Firstly, there was this tiny little character that is surfing on this huge wave that's caressing towards this orange figure in the middle of the screen. I felt like there was a storm, and yet there's this heroic character who is riding it out and battling into the abyss for a greater purpose. I was immediately inspired to go on my own hero's journey. And I upscaled and remastered this with the latest algorithm, and it gave this. And it completely changed the narrative of the piece. Yet there was something even more aesthetically pleasing about this. Firstly, I greatly appreciated the spiral-like composition which drags us around the image in a rotating way. The color palettes are beautiful, how the sun elicits these oranges and yellows off the bottom of the wave here. They contrast beautifully with the depths of the ocean. And this mystical character who is there. He is not phased. He looks like he's about to be engulfed by 2 waves at the same time. Yes, sorry, I became lost in the image there. It really took my breath away. So the reason I picked this as the winner, number 1, is the composition it has come out with is excellent. Number 2, the color palette is beautiful. I particularly liked the poeticism. I enjoyed the poeticism of combining soul and surfing. To me, about taking our soul and seeing it as an ocean and understanding that it's something that we must ride into or on or with. Perhaps there is this huge ocean inside of us that we are experiencing as a surfer. So congratulations, you have won both my courses and a month's access to Midjourney. I will be reaching out. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to learn more about Midjourney, do check out my course on Udemy. I'll leave a link in the description below where I'll take you through every single feature inside of Midjourney. And please like, comment, and why not subscribe to stick around for more AI art related talk. Have a delightful day.